Hi, I'm Doug Lay with Serving Beyond Borders. Thanks for joining us on this journey and learning about what we're calling the radical Christian life. And today we're in step 2 and learning about building your career. And this is a 4-part series where we're trying to help young men and women learn about finding a career that will bring fulfillment and advance God's kingdom on earth. We meet too many Christians who they're miserable in their jobs. They hate going to work. They take it out on their family. The poor dog's scared when they come home from work because they're so unhappy. And that's not how God wants it. God has wired you and gifted you to help advance His kingdom and make this world a better place. So in step 1, we learned about planning, because many people don't plan. They just find themselves in a counselor's office one day and just choose, or they listen to the world and they just choose a job because maybe it'll make money for them. And we talked about the difference between a career and a job. A job's just about making money, but a career is about advancement and growing and finding fulfillment. So today we're going to talk about step 2, and it's make it practical. Make it practical. And our key verse comes from Mark 6:3, because Jesus, who was the greatest preacher ever, made it practical. See, there was a Jewish proverb, and I don't know if it was back in Jesus' day, but I heard it, and it's been around for a long time. Teach a man to work with his hands, or you're teaching him to starve. Think about that for a moment. Jesus, the greatest preacher ever, had a practical skill. Because in Mark 6:3 they said, isn't this the carpenter? Jesus was a carpenter. He worked with his hands. He had a skill. He had a practical way of providing for himself. And that's what we want to talk about today, and we want you to think about in building your career. Is it practical? Is your career, and are you thinking practically when you're thinking about what God wants you to do? So today I want to talk to you about hard skills and soft skills. You can Google this and learn more in depth, but it's simply this. A hard skill is a measurable or specific skill that goes to a specific job. And let me give you an example. Like writing code for a computer, like BASIC or Java, that's a specific skill for a specific job. Maybe it's rebuilding transmissions. Not everyone can do that. That's a specific skill, and it would lead to a specific job. And I talked in for the first video, like making pizza. Not everyone can make pizza. No, if you want to make good pizza, it takes a skill to spin the dough and to make it. And that's why people who are good at it go into restaurants that people go to. And people who don't know the specific skill, people have to eat it still. But anyways, that's soft skills and hard skills. But the soft skills are just skills that go to any job. And they're just more broad. And it's like communication or leadership or interpersonal skills. See, soft skills get you a job. Soft skills advance you in that job. And you need to understand it, because many people are like, I want to go into leadership. What are you going to lead? Why should I choose you into leadership? Who are you going to lead? Or I want to be a communicator like you, Doug. What do you want to communicate? How are you going to hone those skills? See, I'm a communicator of the Bible. I messed up the word communication. Isn't that pretty funny? Maybe I'm not as good a communicator as I thought, but I'm into communication because I have a skill. I learned the Bible. I can master understanding, not theology, but understanding how to study the Bible, how to teach and train people in the scriptures, and then learning how to communicate that. That's a soft skill that's advanced me, but I have the hard skills of studying Greek and Hebrew, interpreting the scriptures. So that's kind of how it's played out in my life, but we want to talk about hard skills to get you a job, and then soft skills and how to advance, and that's for step 4. We'll talk about that. Now, before we get to the practical test, I want to talk about a pitfall that you have to avoid, that many people fall into. Many people choose their college degree before they choose their career. Don't do that. Don't do that. You choose your career, and then as we'll learn in step 3, we'll start looking at some of the goals in step 4 and how to prepare for success. But don't choose a college degree. Choose your career, and then find out what college degree will help you in that career. Because we have too many people who graduate from college and they've got a degree, but it doesn't lead to any career. It doesn't lead to any job. So we have all these people out there, and I meet them all the time, these so frustrated young men and women. They have a degree that doesn't lead to a job, and they're $100,000 in debt, and they're working a job that didn't even need a degree to begin with. See, what they did is they went to college and they met with some counselor and said, oh, you should study humanities, or you should study psychology, or you should study art. Not bad, but what job are they going to lead to? And then you just hope you find a job when you graduate. That's not the way to do that. You find, okay, I'll study art because I want a career and I want to be an art teacher in high school, and maybe that's it. You have a career that you're going toward, then you have the degree come along to help you in your career. Very important. Don't fall into that pitfall. Don't choose the college degree before the career. Choose the career first. So here's a practical test. Very simple. Here's the practical test to build your career. Can I get a job in this? Can I get a job with this degree? Can I get a job with this desire that I want to do? Very practical. But so many people don't really answer that. They just think big picture. Well, I want to be a leader. What does that mean? Well, I want to do art. What does that mean? Well, I want to do photography. For who? Where? How? I mean, thinking about career, thinking about specifics, thinking about, will it provide a job? Can I find a job in this area? Now, when I talk about this, remember, okay, you're choosing all this, but Proverbs 16:9, the mind of man makes his plans, but the Lord directs his steps. Don't fret, don't worry. God will guide you when you seek him first. So here's some action steps for you to do in step 2. Are there any new career fields that God's starting to show you? Now that you're being intentional, God will start bringing things out of the woodwork. You'll all of a sudden meet somebody who starts talking about their job, and you're like, man, I've never even heard about that job. Keep your eyes open. God will start showing you different career fields that you never even thought about before. But because now you're being intentional in seeking him, he'll make it clear. 2, what hard skills do I need for these career fields? Maybe you're being led toward a career field. What hard skills will you need in order to get the job, in order to begin that career? Like, for example, I'd love to be a doctor. Okay, great. What hard skills would you need for that? Well, your first hard skill is you're going to need degrees. You're not getting into medical school without a bachelor's degree. So what do you study in bachelor's? What will help you? What hard skills would you need to get into medical school? Maybe you want to be a businessman. A businessman. Okay, great. What hard skills will you need to be a businessman? People don't think about that. Well, I got a business degree. Well, that's great. What do you want to do? Maybe you want I want to go into the marketing part of business. I want to go into the accounting part of business. I want to go into the sales part of business. Starting in a hard skill, and then you can advance to own your own business one day. Third thing is, what soft skills do I naturally have? Start thinking about your soft skills. We'll talk about that in preparing for success, but are you a naturally good communicator? Well, then you can leverage that when you think about your career. Are you a naturally good with interpersonal skills? Well, that could influence your decision making on your careers also. So don't neglect the soft skills, but just don't base your job on your soft skills. So always remember, hard skills get you the job, but soft skills will help you advance in it. Now, the next thing you can do is research, interview, and do an internship. What this means is finding a specific job, and you find a specific job by finding a specific person working in that job. So you're thinking, maybe I like the career field of a nurse. Well, find a nurse. And when you start interviewing or doing research, you're going to find there's all sorts of jobs within the career field of nursing. You've got a surgical nurse, a nurse who works on the neonatal unit. You have teaching nurses. So you start interviewing and you see, okay, here's a practical job I can do in nursing that appeals to me, and it seems to be what my giftings are and my talents. See, God wants you to be practical in your work. So I'm asking you for step 5 to watch the next video where we're going to talk about setting your goals, and it's going to be amazing as you're advancing in this, watching how God will open doors because he wants to use you to make this world a better place. Can't wait to see you in the next video.
Hi, we're Josiah and Larissa Lay with Serving Beyond Borders. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Like, share, and comment to keep the conversation going. We'd love to hear from you. Also, make sure to subscribe below as we journey together on making disciples who make disciples.